everybody, Patty here in Brooklyn. So I have had a lot of people reach out to me and ask how I'm doing. Obviously, everybody can see the news and are seeing a lot of information coming out of New York City. So I just wanted to give everybody an update on me personally and sort of what I've been up to, what I've been doing working from home. I have been sewing masks in all the free time that I have that I'm not working for the Brooklyn Robot Foundry. So I have made some samples. I've made some different type of masks, and I just wanted to share with everybody my resources and some stuff like that. If you'd like to start by listening to that stuff, I will put somewhere over here what time to just go to, so you could just get that information on the masks. For anybody who's curious how I'm doing and what's going on and all that kind of stuff, just I'll tell you all about it. So I'm here. I'm not in my apartment, so you probably don't recognize exactly where I am. So right now I am in the Airbnb of my friends Sarah and Brad. I'd like to thank them for letting me set up a little sewing area here. Unfortunately, because of the virus, this Airbnb is empty at the moment. Most of their people, as you imagine, had to cancel because they couldn't travel to the city, and obviously not a great time to be traveling. So because it is empty, they're allowing me to do some sewing up here, which has been super amazing, and I'm so grateful. The light is amazing up here. It's just a beautiful space. Once all this is over, you can come and stay here because it's beautiful and cool. So that's where I am. I'm still in Brooklyn. Myself and everybody in this house are healthy. None of us, as we know, are confirmed cases or anything of that sort. Obviously, the cases are all around us, and we are staying safe inside. So I, myself, we're getting food delivered here to the house. We're not really going out for anything more than just maybe a walk around the block or something of that sort. And we are very grateful that we're able to do that. So I am here in the house with Sarah and Brad and their kids and myself, and we are all working and all that kind of stuff. So thank you to Sarah and Brad for letting me be up here and record this. I also want to say thank you to all the people out there who are working, all the essential workers, especially all the medical workers out there who are in the front lines of this. It does feel a little bit separate when you're just in your home. All you hear is the news and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, there's people out there that I know personally who have the virus, and obviously we're all keeping ourselves distant from each other to make sure that we can be part of not spreading the virus. So, so I'm still working, so you might know that I work for the Brooklyn Robot Foundry. I'm working a little bit more for them right now, and one thing we just started to do yesterday is you can take our classes online, which is actually very exciting. We've been pretty much working for the last 2 weeks. Our after-school students have been taking these classes with us online for 2 weeks, and it's been going really well. So Jenny, the owner, has gotten to the point where she was able to start selling the kits in which the kids could take the classes at home. People have asked, am I teaching those classes? At the moment, I am not the teacher of those classes, but I am the kit shipper. So if you order some of those classes that are now live on the Brooklyn Robot Foundry website, I will personally ship them to you. So if for some reason I see anybody's name that I know, I might just slip a little love letter in there and send a little hello or something like that. So that's what's going on. That's where I'm spending a good amount of my days during the day. And that's good. So I still have a job. I'm still employed. I'm still receiving a paycheck, and I'm super grateful for that. So thank you for everybody who's asked me how that's going. Obviously, I have a sewing business also. So my sewing business at the moment is, I guess on hold. So I normally would teach my sewing students sort of one-on-one in my studio down on Fifth Avenue. But being a non-essential business, I can't go there, and obviously people can't come there. So what I've been doing is I've been taking all my time and my sewing related things, and I have been for the past 2 weeks sort of gearing it towards mask making. Thank you for all of the tutorials people have sent me and files and this and that. I've gotten a lot of stuff. I've tried to look at as much of it as I can. There's a lot of great effort out there, especially in the maker community, who are making stuff, either they're 3D printers or sewing or whatever people can do. It really, it does feel nice to have a skill that can be useful in this situation. So that's what I've been doing with the sewing stuff. I miss my students tremendously, and I hope everybody is doing well. I look forward to trying to connect with everybody soon, maybe online. Maybe we can do some sort of online classes. Unfortunately, I haven't myself gotten to that point yet where I've figured that out, but I'm hoping soon to do all that kind of stuff. So that's how that is all going. So let me tell you about what I have been doing mask-wise. Let me show you. So there's two tutorials. I made some notes for myself. So there's two tutorials that I have sort of used. There's a lot out there, but these are the two, so I'll just let you know exactly what I've been using. So Crafts with Ellen, she put out a video, and in that video there is a link to makefacemask.com. So I have used that, and you can sort of follow along with that. So what I've been doing is it's a 7 by 9 inch piece of fabric. So two 7 by 9 inch pieces of fabric. There's a lot of notes on here. There's some trial and error. And what that's going to make, I was using between a 3/8 and a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So what that is making is it's making this type of mask. I think everyone's sort of been seeing that. So it's like a rectangle mask. There are 3 pleats, 1, 2, 3 on each side. The pleating direction is going down towards the bottom. And then it has 2 loops of elastic on the side. So through some experimenting, what worked best for me was 2 5.5 inch pieces of elastic. So these two here were 5.5 inch. Some tutorials said 7 inches. That was a little too big for everybody I tried my samples onto. And so that worked best. This also has a pocket on the bottom, and the pocket is there so that you can put a 3rd layer of filtration inside that. And then this goes around the ears. So again, this is 2 7 by 9 inch pieces of fabric, hemming and leaving a hole at the bottom, and then 2 5.5 inch pieces of elastic on the side. This version, the body of it is the same, and then the difference is we have four obviously, 2 20-inch ties. So these are actually bias tape. I've been using bias tape. Some people have ribbons. Some people have been making their own sort of ties. I luckily had some bias tape, and I have gotten some more bias tape. So this is 20 inches here, and obviously we have 4 of them. So this is, again, the same 7 by 9 inch piece of fabric. Sew it, catch those guys in there. If you follow Crafts with Ellen's tutorial, she'll do it sort of just like this. So you can follow that along. So there's a nice tutorial out there for those type of masks. Then in that style, I did try some kids ones. The first one I did that unfortunately was too small for me was a 7 by 5 inch piece of fabric. So this is 7 inches by 5 inches, similar type of seam allowance. I tried this on some kids. Unfortunately, this was too small. So this was a tutorial I saw, and for all the kids I have around me, maybe this works for a very, very small child, but this was too small. The youngest child here is 5, so this was too small for a 5-year-old. But this worked really well, and this is 7 inches by 6 inches. Again, with 3 little pleats on the side. And then the elastic on these is 2 pieces of elastic that are 6.5 inches each. So again, this is the kids one. This is 2 7 by 6 inch pieces of fabric. The elastics are 6.5 inches, and again, it has the little sort of pocket at the bottom for a 3rd layer of filtration. Okay, so those are the rectangularly ones. Again, you go to Crafts by Ellen, go to makefacemask.com for that pattern and tutorial and that sort of stuff. So then I wanted to try a more curved mask style, and I saw a bunch of different tutorials, but I went to this one, I tried it out, it worked really well. I don't have any association with this person, it just worked and it seemed nice. So if you go to sewingtherapy.net, she does a couple of different tutorials, but the one that I thought worked well and the pattern I took from was the 2-layer mask, and that is also so you can have a pocket for filtration. So the pattern is a woman's size, which works really, really well. So I did those in 2 versions. I did them with elastic and I did them with ties. So on this one, I ended up doing a 10 inch piece of elastic. I made like a little casing here on the side, and then I made a 10-inch piece of elastic, and because that elastic is a loop, I overlapped it 1 inch. So that's what's there. Now the big change that I made to this pattern, or the way this is sewn together, is that I made the hole for putting the filtration in sort of on the sides here. So then you would take your piece and sort of put it in there and sort of unfold it into the center if you wanted another layer of filtration. So it's actually sort of open if you wanted to put a third layer of filtration in there. And then I added, in some of these, I added a piece of metal that goes in between the layers that goes across the nose. But you can see I have some that have elastic that's looped through, like a little casing I made on the side. And then I did, this was my first version that has ties. In the end, I did some with ties where the tie also loops through the casing. And then so it's just one continuous piece of bias tape. But what I did is I added a little piece of metal here. I brought certain things home from the studio, and this happened to be one of the things I brought. I'm not even actually sure why I chose to bring this home. This is 24 gauge galvanized steel wire. So what I did with that wire is I cut a piece about 10 inches long, and then I folded it in half. I attached the two ends together there, and then I just twisted it, leaving a little loop on either end. And then what I did with this is, before I turned the mask right sides out, I put this inside, and then I actually did a little zigzag stitch over those two loops to keep it in the place I wanted it to be, and then I turned it right sides out. So then it didn't shift when I was sewing it. And then when I did a top stitch here, I did a top stitch, and then I made a little area where the wire is, and then a top stitch over here. So far this seems to work. A lot of these masks, you know, it's only been 2 weeks, and so not like people have worn these long term. So I don't know if this piece of wire is the best solution long term, but at the moment it seems to be working. And that was just a little addition that I made to that mask. So this women's from SewTherapy.net, it fit really nicely. It consists of an outer piece, and then the inner piece. And the inner piece, you're going to be hemming the sides of that. And then when you put them together, that's when you're going to end up with this little pocket, because the outer piece is going to be longer. Then you're going to be able to make a little area. I made a little casing to slide the elastic through. So that's how those ones are. These ones have a nice fit to them. I would say these ones could take 3 times or 4 times as long as these ones. The first batch I made all of these. I made 37 of these per request that came to me. I really like how they are. I'm super happy that they're going out into the world. I just have a big batch here that's about to get picked up today. But for time, if you are going for time, how many can I make? How fast can I make? Go for the rectangles. They're definitely a lot faster. There's less steps in the process of doing them. But if you maybe are just making some for your household, or some, you know, for the people around you, maybe you have a little bit more time, or you're dedicated right now to just doing more sewing, maybe you would do those ones. Those are the main differences are just time. So that was that. So these are the women's. Each type I did with ties or elastic. Then they have, in that same tutorial, they tell you how much to size the pattern up for a men's version. I did find that this one, especially with like a bigger jaw or maybe facial hair or that sort of thing, this one was a little small. So there's a men's sizing. It's like 115% larger than the regular one. So that one is nice. You can see it's a little bit bigger. And then the elastics on this that worked well for me were 10 inches. Or if you're going to do the long tie, that again was 40 inches. So that's the same 10 inches of elastic or 40 inches of bias tape on either side. That's what worked for these guys. Then she also tells you to make it, I'm pretty sure it was 85% for this. So this is a kid's version. So this kid's version actually fits well. The elastic on the sides is, I have it written down here, 9 inches, again with a 1 inch overlap. So you have the little piece of metal here on the top. It's exactly the same thing. You could put some filtration in here. These types I only made with ear loops because I thought that it might be a little finicky around the head with the ties. And to get kids to wear these, I thought the elastics might be the best idea for that. So the batch that I'm sending out today and that I've sewn so far, I've only done the kids' size with elastics. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but these fit nicely. These fit Elliot, who is here. She's 10. This size fit her, and Milo, who is 5. This size fit him also. So that was that. So that's the kid size. So that's everything that I have done. That's all my feedback on the patterns I've used and what kind of works and doesn't work. All the ones I've washed and all that kind of stuff. As far as the materials go, so people have been asking, like, where am I getting certain stuff? So I had some stuff at my studio that I brought home. I had some bias tape and I had some elastic. But one of the places that I've gotten my bias tape, so you might have seen these in clothes that I've made in the past. This is bias tape that comes from a company called Dove Original Trims, and that's their website, doveoriginaltrims.com. They do it in a bunch of different colors. These are ones that I've used for clothing before. This one is. I liked this one also. So I figured if for some reason I don't use these all for masks, I can use them when I return to making clothing and that sort of thing. So this is double fold bias tape. So when you make it into ties, you are going to have to close it and then you are going to have to sew it. One way that I've seen other people do their masks, and it seems really fast and really efficient, is that they do one long piece, and then as they come over the edge here, they just go ahead and sandwich their layers of fabric. Let's pretend like that's in there. They'll sandwich their layers of fabric in, and then they'll just do one continuous stitch. My friend Mindy, you might all know Mindy, her Facebook page is She's So Pretty. That's her store in Maryland, She's So Pretty. She's been sewing a lot of masks, and that's how she's been doing it, and she's been able to do them very fast, and that little technique seems to be making it super fast. So she'll just have the 2 pieces of fabric, and then she'll do one long piece of bias tape. I don't know exactly the length of her bias tape, but I would say 40 inches is what I'm doing, so I bet she's doing something similar. So anyway, so this is bias tape from, it's 1/2 inch double fold bias tape from Dove Original Trims. I happen to have some elastic that I just had, and then I got a little bit, or not a little bit, a good amount donated to me. So 2 things that were donated to me were elastic and fabric from Assembly Baby, which is a company that I work with here in Brooklyn. They donated all of this cotton fabric that they actually use for their diaper company. They're a washable diaper company, and they're a great company, and I work with them. And so not only are some masks coming to their company today, but they gave me a very sizable donation of this fabric and elastic. Now, if you are local and you need supplies, please reach out to me, because I do have some supplies, and at the moment I have more supplies than I do time, and I'd like anybody who needs supplies to be able to have them. So if I can either do a no contact drop off here at the house, or I could possibly mail them to you or something of that sort. I have elastic, I have bias tape, I have some fabric. I was also trying to think about this weekend, maybe I could make some kits for people with those supplies. If you want to make 2 or 3 masks or 10 masks or whatever, like make some kits. I also am going to see if it's feasible to make some sort of tutorial, maybe in like the most basic stuff. So I know a lot of people are not sewers. New York City is asking everybody to cover their face as of yesterday when they're going out. So I know everybody is looking for some way to accomplish that. So I've been looking around this morning for things that maybe we could all have in our houses, or have some close thing to that in your house, and we could assemble some sort of mask out of that with low sewing skills, maybe just a needle and thread, or even some safety pins. I think most people might have some safety pins or something like that. So something like just like a bandana or some rubber bands or something like that. So I'm going to kind of look for some stuff and see if maybe I can do some sort of tutorial on how to just make a useful mask with some around the house sort of basic supplies of sorts. So that is my plan for today. Hopefully, I will also get caught up in responding to everybody. If you haven't heard from me, that is one of the reasons to do this video, is just to say, like, I am well, I am here, I am still being productive. I miss everybody. I hope to see everybody soon. So I hope this video, besides being probably too long, is helpful in some way if you are trying to make masks or sew masks. If you have any resources yourself, if maybe you could put it in the comments so we could share it with people, or if you want to just send it to me personally, I'll try to put it in the comments or something like that. Maybe this could be a good resource for anybody who is sewing, or if you have places to send masks, or you know of places specifically that need masks. That would be awesome. This is definitely where I'm trying to put my efforts at the moment. So there we go. I hope that this is helpful. I hope everybody else is doing well, and it is still a very shocking reality that we're all living in. So I hope everybody is finding support around themselves, and things to occupy your time, and try to all stay sane, things of that sort. If there's anyone in my family that you would like to get in touch with, like if for some reason you want to send my mom a message or something like that, you can just send me a direct message of some sort, and I could get you either her phone number, or email address, or not email, or like her address or something like that if you wanted to send her a message. I've been making little videos for her to try to stay connected and talking to her on the phone a lot. So anyway, I think that is it. I'm going to try to sew some more stuff and maybe make a little tutorial. So that's it. I'm going to sign off and try to have a productive day, and I hope everybody does too. And I love you, and stay safe, and we'll all get through this together. All right. No contact kiss.